Boom, boom,
Live, there it
boom.
is. Bada bing, bada
Boom,
boom.
boom,
All
boom.
right,
James, it
ladies
is time to
for
drop the fire.
All right, all you business pros. Before we jump into the show, just a quick reminder to please subscribe on whichever platform it is that you're listening to us on today. Give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, and drop a review and help other like-minded business owners find value from our awesome guests as we rise up in those podcast rankings. We will sincerely appreciate it. And if you want to be a guest on the show, we'd love to have you on and learn from you as well. Go to www.businessbros.biz/podcast guest and schedule your time slot. And don't forget to follow us on all of our social media at Business Bros Pod. That side right there.
Boom.
We're so excited, so honored to bring yet another incredible guest onto the Business Bros Pod. Our guest today is someone who can help people achieve goals they would otherwise have thought only a dream. Through his background in education, financial services, and planning, our guest is passionate about helping people improve their credit and finances. Our guest doesn't mess around. The financial well-being of his clients is his number one priority, and he loves to guide others toward achieving their financial goals through life insurance protection, investments, tax strategies, and risk retirement and estate planning. They say the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago, and the second best time is today. The same is true about your financial future. Tune in today to learn how our guest is helping his clients grow their retirement trees and how you can use those strategies in your life as well. Joining us today from Virtuity Financial Partners, welcome to the show, Mike Hernandez.
Shut up and sit down.
The Business Bros Podcast was created for you. Learn from the business professionals who come to share their stories. Find out what's working in business and social media, what's hot and what's not, straight from the mouths of successful entrepreneurs out there doing the real work. And now, welcome to another episode of
Business Bros.
It is Tuesday, and we are ready to rock and roll here on the Business Bros Podcast. Mike, welcome to the program, my friend. Are you ready to tell us all about who you are and what you do to be of service to others?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm here to, inspire others and share some of my knowledge and some of my experience and, hopefully inspire some of you guys to, make some financial changes for the better and, help you with your financial well-being.
All right, so financial industry, that is a broad stroke, dude. There's so many different aspects when it comes to the financial industry. Tell me about what you do specifically and how you're helping people.
Yeah, but first of all, before I do that, I also want to thank you guys for having me on the show. I've seen your guys' show on and off, and, it's always inspiring to learn from other entrepreneurs out there. So I wanted to thank you. I'm super grateful to, have you guys reach out to me and have me on the show. So I encourage other, business owners to also click on the link, follow you guys, so they can also learn from others. So as a community, we only become stronger, right? So
absolutely.
Thank you for that.
I love it. I was going for that one too.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I love the little snippet intros right there. So thank you. Financial industry is such a broad topic, and wanted to share a little bit about my story about how I came across this industry. Initially when I started fresh out of college, working in, the car industry, as you know, car financing is probably your second biggest purchase you're ever going to make in your life, next to, buying a home. And I saw a lot of people with a lot of credit card debt getting, overcharged with a high interest rate, on their car because of just being in debt or having bad credit. And so my cousin and I, we both actually have a background in the car industry. He also owned his own dealership. And, he started in the credit industry helping people fix their credit. And I joined him 7 years ago. And, that was such a eye-opening experience to be able to learn how credit works, how a lot of these banks take advantage of folks because they see them as a higher risk. And, I feel like a lot of people don't really understand, how credit and money works because they don't teach this in school. They say statistically, well, they say that 17 out of the 50 states only teach financial education in high school, and a lot of these states don't. And so I feel like a lot of people, need that extra education when it comes to financial literacy and understanding how money, works, so that they can have an advantage, right? And so I learned that early on through the credit consulting world, and that got me also exposed to the other side, which is the financial planning, financial, insurance and protection and stuff like that. So
That's a crazy story,
yeah.
man. To go from, when people go out to buy a car, it's funny because the financing, the way it's sold to you is like, do you make $300 a week? Then come on in and
Yeah.
come get a car. And it's almost like they're
Yeah.
giving it away to everybody, because honestly, they kind of are, right? I mean, essentially, if you default, they're going to take the car back, turn around, clean it up, and
Right.
resell it at a profit anyways. So it's
Right.
not as big a risk to the car dealership. But when you're sitting down and talking numbers with people, you're almost the enemy in that situation. Like, I remember, my dad's a super nice guy, but when he walked into a car dealership, I mean, he flipped the switch and all of a sudden he was something else.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. How do
Right.
you go from being the finance guy at a car dealership to switching over, and now you're working with credit repair and trying to help people out?
Yeah. So, going into this field, the business is a lot of it. There's a lot of laws and a lot of understanding how, the Fair Credit Reporting Act works. And my cousin's the one that actually had all the books, and he did all the research and all the knowledge, and he built, a plan, a foundation on how to help, people repair their credit, but oftentimes also settling their debt. Credit repair is not something that just your hand and debt disappears. No, there's actually, steps involved with fixing your credit, and it's not something that gets done overnight. It takes, sometimes a couple months to fix someone's credit, helping them settle some of their debt. And I've had experiences with clients that, they had a lot of credit card debt. It was very recent, and we were able to, settle some of these debts for a fraction of what they owe, and be able to share with them, some strategies on how to build their credit, but at the same time, give them the education that they need, so that they don't get back into debt. Helping them with some tools like budgeting, helping them with some tools about proper money management, how much is the income and the expenses and cash flow. And, credit, if I didn't give them this education and I only fix their credit, the following year, they're going to be back into debt and back being another, client again. So I felt that, giving people education as an educator, I felt that, that was going to make the biggest difference in their life, is now giving them the tools so that they can move ahead, in life.
You're working with people in a level and with a specific niche here where they're going to be eternally grateful. They're going to be able to buy that car. They're going to be able to buy that house that they want to do. Oftentimes what happens is they don't get that education in school, and then they go out and they find themselves in a big hole, and they don't know how to get out of that hole. And what you're describing is they're in the hole. You tell them, hey, you're in a hole, and the first thing you need to do is stop digging. But they don't always stop digging first. They find their way. They get a rope. You get them out, but then
Right.
lo and behold, they're back in that debt hole. What happens afterwards? So now you got a client that you've educated them, you've gotten them out of their hole, and now they're on their way to maybe buying a car, maybe buying a house, whatever it is. What else are you doing for these people, or are you sticking to that niche?
So that's a very great question. That's one of the niches that we work in, is working with realtors, lenders, car dealerships, and ideally I like to help families that want to become homeowners, and help them with also planning for their future. Helping them understand that if they don't have a 401k plan offered at their work, that we can also help them with setting up a retirement plan, whether it's a Roth IRA, or a tax advantage account through life insurance. We have different options based on what clients' needs are, and my ideal goal is to also help them with if they have kids, a plan for their college, like a 529 plan, or an index plan that they can start off, when that kid is young, and start putting some money aside, so that they can, have some money, ready for when they're ready to go to college. One of the things that I really stress, before we jump on the other thing is having them understand the basic financial principles, like the rule of 72, the 50, 20, 30, and in that order, always having a percentage of their money go towards something that's going to grow later, because I make them understand the effects of compounding interest over time. And especially when you have someone who's young, especially the millennials right now graduating from college, if they have a job and they're able to start putting $100 away a month, that amount of money can tremendously grow by the time they retire. And so through the use of some of my softwares and stuff that we have, we are able to show projections and give the clients that peace of mind, that we can either grow their money in a variable account or an index account. We have different options available for them.
So the licensing on that is life insurance license and probably some Series 6, Series 7 type licensing for some of the index stuff, right? Some of the stuff that's variable in the market, correct? What about on the P&C side when it comes to insurance? Are you guys doing anything on that side?
We do have a company called Bolt Insurance that they're a brokerage firm that works with companies like Safeco, Hartford, and various other insurance companies. They do auto, home, and business. What I do with them, with clients when I sit down with them, is I take a look at what they currently have, how much they're paying, and maybe there's a way that we can save them, some money on that too. So
that's genius, dude. And the reason I ask again is because, that's what you're doing right now in the financial industry is the ideal client that we look for. So in other words, for James and I on our side business, we're in the insurance industry, right? So our ideal client is someone like you, what'd you say?
I said our side business.
Our side business. No, I meant side on, because we're on the
business,
right?
Yeah.
But our main thing, right? Our main thing is on that P&C side, and we're always looking for people like yourself that have that ability to talk to clients, that have that book of business, but are leaving money on the table because they're not taking advantage of that P&C side. And we want to come in and effectively help them add insurance. So the fact that you're working with somebody is already a plus, because you're giving your clients the opportunity to find another avenue of income, right? Saving money is the same as earning some more money. If you can apply that to a debt, you can apply that to a savings plan, you can apply that to a life policy. It's all the same. It's all good, right? You're helping them achieve the goal that they want to achieve. And I'll give you another one that I used to run by, and maybe you can do this with some tax professionals. But when you're looking at somebody's stuff and you look at their tax return and they have a refund, oftentimes we can adjust their W-4 to find some of that money rather than waiting at the end of the year to get it. We can get on a check by check basis and then use some of those funds, allocate them to whatever we need to in their specific plan.
Yes, that's a really great point. That's something that I usually have them consult with their either tax consultant or their CPA, so that they can, accurately document whatever number they need on their W-4. But that's a way to find an extra $200 to $300, sometimes $400 a month, just right there by making that adjustment. And one of the quick tips I wanted to mention, going back to the car insurance, is a lot of folks with this pandemic, they've been mostly working from home, so they haven't been really driving as much. So it's a good idea to call your insurance company and get an adjustment on the amount of miles you drive in. You'll probably see an extra $50 to $100 in savings a month if you have a couple cars, so take advantage of that as well.
Yeah, no, and the strategy that you're using there is not a very complicated one. The clients that you're talking to already trust you. Like the hardest thing that I've noticed when talking to clients is to get them to talk about their wallet, right? It's like that skeleton in the closet. Like, don't look at my bank account and all my transactions. You're gonna know me on a different level. Yeah, exactly. but you've already established that, right? That's the cool thing about being a tax professional. That's the cool thing about working on people's credit. It's like, yo, whatever you're hiding back there, we got to bring it all to light. And now that, once that happens, you've opened up that vulnerability channel. You're like, look, I've been in this situation myself. Let me show you how we're able to get myself out of it, or how I got another client out of it. It opens up that vulnerability channel. So once you have opened that, in my experience, and I'm wondering if it's in your experience as well, in my experience, those people tend to come to me for a lot of things that maybe I'm not licensed to do, or I'm not a professional in, but they come to me and ask first. What's been your experience when working with clients when it comes to their wallets? What kind of experience have you had in referrals, or what they come ask you questions for?
Yeah, some of the questions they ask me about is, like, for example, I had a client who, he works in a pretty dangerous industry, having to be up on trees and tree trimming and stuff like that. And, some people are skeptical about like life insurance with living benefits or disability insurance. They think it's not going to happen to them. But, I actually have an uncle, family member of mine, who in January, he was trimming a bush, and he accidentally fell, and he was hospitalized for about a month and a half. His bills were like $300,000, and it was crazy. He could have died, and disability insurance is just one of those insurances that would pay, in case something catastrophic like that would happen. It would pay for your living expenses and possible medical bills. And so, some people are skeptical about it, but when I tell them the story of like, look, this is something that you never know when something could happen. You could be involved in a car accident, and some of the policies that we offer, life insurance with living benefits, can cover like some of these chronic, critical, or terminal illnesses where you don't necessarily have to, pass away to take advantage of the face amount of the policy. So, that brings about another, topic is like, hey, you're paying for protection of loss of income, especially if you're the breadwinner, you're a homeowner, you have kids. We got to think about like the family, like what's important. And, everybody has car insurance. Everybody has sometimes even phone insurance, right? And, but they don't have insurance on their life, on themselves and on their income. Mm-hmm. So I think it's an important topic to, bring about.
This is the other side of it, and here's another thing about disability insurance. Some employers will offer it for you, right? They'll provide the disability coverage for you. Now, here's the downside to that, ladies and gentlemen, and check with your tax preparer. They'll tell you the same thing. If your employer is paying for your disability insurance, when you collect that disability check, it is taxable. However, if you pay for your disability insurance and you collect that money, it is not taxable because you're paying for the policy premium. So it is in your best interest to have it, especially if you're in that situation. Because once something does happen, because we're human, we are not invincible. We can't fly, like the speed of the light. Like speak for yourself. Exactly. I'm not Superman. You can't stop.
Ain't no thing like me except me.
Yeah, okay, maybe Rocket, right? But the point is, eventually we're going to get older. Eventually our bodies are going to start to give out. We can fall and get hurt. My mom, for example, perfect example. She works she donates her time at the food bank all the time, literally just carrying a box to put in a car, falls and breaks her knee. Right. And now all of a sudden you're immobile. If you're climbing trees for a living, you can't do that anymore. Right. If you're giving, you're out delivering mail all day, you can't do that anymore. So, now you're in a situation where your income drops. Hopefully you had some sort of disability that comes in. And if your employer paid for it, at least you got disability coming in, but you're going to pay Uncle Sam. You paid for it. Now you got that disability coming in and you're not being hit with income tax on that. So, a little helpful hint. All right.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So let me shift a little bit here. So, you've been in this space for a few years now. What do you see as far as your future is concerned? Like, how are you growing your business, and where do you want to take it?
Yeah. So, currently, I'm studying for these Series 6, 63, 65 licenses. And I feel that that's just another tool on my belt that I'm going to be able to help, more clients, especially business owners, that have, more assets, and want to, invest their money into these variable accounts, have a greater earning potential. And so what I see, especially with the Latino community, especially with, I come from a family of entrepreneurs. So I know a lot of our Latinos brothers and sisters out there also, entrepreneurs themselves. And I feel like that the industry, is underserved. Like there's a huge need out there for people like us that can help and educate, a lot of business owners, and to help them with, growing their money and taking advantage of all the, the things that are out there. One thing that, I wish that somebody would have reached out to my father many years ago is to help him, put money away into an account that can, grow without risk of loss, like an index account. And, I was able to open up a few of these accounts for some clients, and, now they're like, wow, I just earned, 7% on my account, something that me having this money sitting in the bank wouldn't have earned anything, and so, it's gratifying to see that, now I'm showing clients how, money works and how I can help them, grow their money. Just, giving somebody an example of like, hey, based on the rule of 72, if I'm able to help you earn an average rate of 7%, I can have your money double every 10 years. I mean, if someone is 30 years old with, let's say, $10,000, I mean, how many more doubles do you have in your lifetime? By the time you're 65, you have a pretty good chunk of change in there saved. So,
and that's powerful,
yeah.
especially for the end client, right? But
Yeah.
I like the concept of income and helping people save and earn more, right? I love that concept. So I'm gonna shift it a little bit from the client to you, the entrepreneur. You're getting your Series 6, Series 65, Series 63, Series 7. So in other words, you're shifting, going from life products, moving into assets under management. And there's a big reason why you're taking a shift in that direction. And it has to do with the way we earn money in that space. So on the life insurance products, for those of you who are not life licensed, those are huge commission checks. Think of a real estate transaction. You make a sale, you do a 401k rollover, you open an IRA, whatever it is that you're doing, there is a one-time commission and you're set. That's it. It's done. That transaction's pretty much over unless they roll over to something else later down the road or whatnot, right? So that's the life insurance side. On the P&C side, this is the property and casualty side. This is also the reason why the Series 6 and assets under management is so important, is because of the residual that happens afterwards. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, but once you have assets under management, now what you're doing is you're saying, look, I want you to invest money into these particular, you can go Vanguard, you can go, ING, wherever you want to go, put money wherever you want to put it. And you as the fiduciary are controlling where these investments go for the clients and earning a percentage of whatever the portfolio is, right? And it works the same way on the P&C side, ladies and gentlemen. As long as you maintain clients and they stay with you, they pay their bills, all of a sudden you're getting paid year over year. So, my favorite thing is to let's find another income stream for people, right? Like that's super awesome for me. So now that you're growing your business, now that you're kind of moving on, what are your targets? What are you looking to do as far as your business growth model for the new licenses?
Yeah. So one of the things I learned a lot in my previous work, and this had to do with prospecting, right? Prospecting, talking to business owners. I'm a very outgoing, out on the field type of person. I love talking to people, out on the field, and I'm not so much of a stay at the office all day. And so one of my strengths is, just jiving with people, building that relationship, relating to them, and so on. And so what I see with the way the country is also moving is that with the Secure Act, they're implementing, mandates on 401k plans for small business owners. With COVID, things kind of got pushed a little bit, but in a way, I guess that's kind of good because this is a license I've been wanting to get for a while, and there's a lot of material got to study. So I see that my targets are small business owners, 5 employees or more. Your local mechanic shops or your local bakeries, home health agencies, your local, restaurants and stuff like that that have employees, and they want to keep them there long term as an incentive to offer your employees a 401k plan. And that's also assets under management. If you're able to pick up a couple of those and have a couple $1 million of assets over management, keep in mind they also will grow. As long as they're your clients, they will grow over time, and your commission, your residual will also grow, as long as you also do good by them. And so I see that there's a huge market for that, and that we'll be able to capitalize by working closely with CPAs and accountants and folks that need that type of help and assistance, or you will get the government 401k plan that's not so good. So it's ideal. Yeah, it's ideal that they work with a professional, because I'll be able to offer like Fidelity, Voya, some of the A-rated companies out there to get them set up.
Well, let me ask you about your biggest struggles here in this space. So most people, you talked about going out and hitting the pavement, talking to people, driving with people, getting to know people, and shaking hands. Right now, COVID's hit. I mean, there ain't no shaking hands. There's no hugs anymore. Nope. I miss hugs. Hugs are cool.
Yeah.
So what kind of hiccups are you seeing in your business right now? And what kind of hiccups do you see once you get your license to growth? And what do you think you can do to overcome them?
I think some of the hiccups that have definitely allowed me to grow during this pandemic is, getting used to the social media, the LinkedIn, the messaging people, the following up with people. Sometimes people aren't so responsive, so you have to follow up with them often on social media, because sometimes your messages get pushed down, so you have to be constantly, in their face. And so that's taken a little bit, to get used to. But I feel that, with all the different platforms that we have out there, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, I'm leveraging more of that, more and more so now, especially because that's something that's it's gonna either make you or break you. During this time, I noticed that people are developing their brand, they're developing their name, they're getting their name out there, they're constantly, stories and sharing, some of their life and stuff like that. But at the same time, they're sharing their business. And I feel that that's helped me with, getting more business on the book.
Totally does, man. It totally does. Establishing yourself as a reputable brand in what you do. So that it's just, marketing 101, right? Get in front of people and tell them what it is you do. So whether it's, posting stuff on social media, whether it's shaking hands, whether it's handing out a business card, it's all one and the same. We're doing the same thing. Prospect. It never ends. Fanatical Prospecting by Jet Blood is one of the good books that I love that I've read in the past. And it's you prospecting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Stop being afraid of calling yourself a salesperson. Stop being afraid of communicating with the people around you, letting them know what it is you do. You and I are Mexican, dude. So, there's a lot of times that, I have a large family and I don't know what everyone in my family does I know what industry roughly they do, but I don't know what they do, mainly because nobody talks about it at the house, right? Nobody talks about work. Right. They don't talk about their finances. Like those are taboo subjects. So, you have to kind of educate yourself to be able to get them in a position where they open up. So speaking of education and mentoring, who do you look up to? What, aside from obviously the studying you're doing right now, what books, mentors, podcasts do you listen to or read to help you kind of keep your focus, your mindset on being productive and helping others?
One of the most recent YouTubers out there, Alex Becker. He's one of the guys that I looked up to, just because of how he breaks things down to, one of the things that I had to kind of do to help me with focusing and studying is just, get rid of a lot of the notifications on your phone, right? And some of those things sometimes can be super distracting. And so, limiting your cell phone, I guess, like browsing social media usage, and just putting that aside and getting to, the hour of power of just focusing, knocking out, some of the toughest work that you have to get out. I've also listened to Ed Milet, who's one of our, guys from our company. He's a pretty big out there in the social media and the speaking world. I've seen him a couple times. I've had a couple of my partners also see him and get inspired by his message. And just our mentors within our company. We have a Hannah Hornstein is one of our mentors in our company. She's the founder of Virtuity Financial Partners, partnered up with the NFL alumni here in Southern California, who we also try to mentor and help out other folks, other athletes. Also, Shakira Singh, who is also part of our company. She wrote a book called Not Another Broke Athlete. And I think that, with all these mentors, we closely align with, hey, finance doesn't just hit the folks that are poor, but it also hits the people that are wealthy, like, athletes and folks that, come up with a lot of money. And because they lack a lot of the financial guidance or the financial experts to help them, I've learned through the experience and knowledge that, if you want to be successful, you got to have three good things. You got to have a good lawyer, a good CPA, and a good financial advisor. And, having those three people on your team is going to make for you to have a very strong foundation as well.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Hey, thank you for coming on the show and sharing a lot of what you got going on, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been quite eye-opening. I love talking. I mean, you're working ideally in the industry that we're looking for.
Yeah.
So, I speak the same language as you do. I have the same passion to help as many people as you do. My aspect, my approach is a little bit different. You're going after the end consumer. I'm going after the people like you. So I'm going to invite you and any other independent agents out there who are in the financial industry. Maybe you have a tax office. Maybe you have financial, like a mortgage, or you're a registered investment advisor, whatever it is. I implore you, I urge you to add property and casualty into your business. And I know it's fearful. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. That's where we come in. Literally, You can go to pipelineinsurance.com/agent opportunities. We can teach you how to effectively add insurance into your business. Ladies and gents, give me a quick follow if you can at Business Bros Pod, and you can connect with me directly. If you have questions, I'd love to sit down, do a 15-minute call with you, kind of assess where you're at and see what we can do to help you out. businessbros.biz/Hernan. All right, ladies and gents, Mike, again, thank you very much for coming on the show. Appreciate you taking the time. Ladies and gents, we'll see you again mañana. Tomorrow's Wednesday, hump day.
Hump day.
Bye, Mike. Have a good one.
Yep. All right. Take care. All right, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Business Bros Podcast. Are you looking to get more clients or to increase your income? Hernan, the business bro, can help you generate referrals through the power of podcasting. And James, the insurance bro with Pipeline Insurance, can help you effectively add insurance to your existing business. If you are ready to create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow, email businessbros@csfirst.com to schedule a free consultation, or join the Business Bros Network, www.businessbros.biz.